The relationship between Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban is complex and fraught with contradictions. For decades, Pakistan provided sanctuary to the Taliban, supporting their fight against the Soviet Union in the 1980s and later, the US-led forces after 2001. This support stemmed from Pakistan's desire to maintain strategic depth in Afghanistan and counter Indian influence. Pakistan viewed the Taliban as a reliable ally in a volatile region. However, the US withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021 dramatically altered the geopolitical landscape. The Taliban's swift takeover of Kabul, while a cause for celebration in some quarters of Pakistan, also raised alarm bells. The victory emboldened the Taliban and Pakistan, or TTP, a Pakistani offshoot of the Afghan Taliban, which intensified its cross-border attacks, targeting Pakistani security forces and civilians. The Pakistani establishment found itself in a quandary. The very group it had nurtured for years had become a direct threat to its own security. The porous border between the two countries, a historical corridor for trade and migration, transformed into a flashpoint for violence and instability. The Taliban's victory, once seen as a strategic asset, now presented a significant challenge to Pakistan's internal stability. The complex interplay of history, ideology, and geopolitics has brought Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban to a crossroads. The legacy of past support has become a burden, forcing Pakistan to confront a Frankenstein's monster of its own making. The following sections will delve deeper into the escalating tensions, the role of the TTP, and the potential for a full-blown conflict between the two erstwhile allies. The year 2024 witnessed a dramatic escalation in tensions between Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban. Cross-border clashes, once sporadic, have become increasingly common, with casualties reported on both sides. The porous border region, once a symbol of shared Pashtun heritage, has transformed into a battleground. The situation reached a boiling point in December 2024 when Pakistani airstrikes targeted alleged TTP hideouts in Afghanistan's Paktika province. These strikes resulted in civilian casualties, sparking outrage and condemnation from the Taliban government in Kabul. The Taliban denounced the violation of Afghan sovereignty and accused Pakistan of acting with impunity. Pakistan, in turn, defended its actions, claiming that the strikes were necessary to target terrorists operating from Afghan soil. These cross-border raids have further strained the already fragile relationship between the two countries. The Taliban, eager to assert its authority and protect its sovereignty, has vowed to retaliate against any future Pakistani incursion. Pakistan, on the other hand, remains determined to eliminate the TTP threat, even if it means taking unilateral action within Afghan territory. The escalation in violence has raised concerns within the international community. The United Nations and neighboring countries have called for restraint and urged both sides to engage in dialogue. However, the deep mistrust and conflicting interests make a peaceful resolution elusive. The following section will examine the role of the TTP, a key player in this unfolding drama, and its impact on Pakistan-Afghanistan relations. At the heart of the escalating tensions between Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban lies the Taliban and Pakistan, or TTP. This militant group, with its roots in the tribal areas of northwest Pakistan, has emerged as a major destabilizing force in the region. The TTP, while ideologically aligned with the Afghan Taliban, operates independently and has repeatedly targeted the Pakistani state, seeking to establish its own Islamic emirate. Pakistan accuses the Taliban of harboring and supporting the TTP, providing them with safe havens and training grounds within Afghan territory. The Taliban, while acknowledging their shared history and ideology, deny these accusations, claiming that they are committed to preventing the TTP from using Afghan soil to attack other countries. The TTP has stepped up its attacks within Pakistan, targeting security forces, government installations, and civilians. In a particularly brazen move in January 2025, the group issued direct threats to major Pakistani institutions, including military-linked businesses and financial entities in Rawalpindi, the nation's military headquarters. These threats, coupled with the TTP's history of violence, have sent shockwaves through Pakistani society. Pakistan faces a dilemma. The Taliban's victory, once seen as a strategic asset, has inadvertently empowered a dangerous enemy within its own backyard. The TTP's ability to operate with impunity from Afghan territory poses a direct challenge to Pakistan's sovereignty and security. The following section will explore the potential implications of this escalating conflict and the prospects for a peaceful resolution. The escalating tensions between Pakistan and the Afghan Taliban, fueled by cross-border clashes and the TTP threat, have raised fears of a wider conflict with potentially devastating consequences for the region. The situation is precarious, with both sides locked in a dangerous cycle of action and reaction. Pakistan, facing a resurgent TTP and feeling betrayed by the Taliban's inability or unwillingness to rein in the group, appears increasingly frustrated and isolated. The recent airstrikes and military deployments along the border indicate a hardening stance and a willingness to use force to protect its interests. The Taliban, still grappling with the challenges of governing a war-torn country, find themselves caught between their ideological affinity with the TTP and their desire to be seen as a responsible actor on the international stage. Their ability to manage this delicate balancing act will determine the trajectory of their relationship with Pakistan and the future stability of the region. The international community, particularly regional powers like China, Russia, and Iran, have a critical role to play in preventing a catastrophic escalation. Diplomatic pressure, coupled with economic incentives and security guarantees, could persuade both sides to choose the path of dialogue and cooperation. The road ahead is fraught with peril, but the alternative, a full-blown conflict between two nuclear-armed neighbors, is unthinkable. The world watches with bated breath, hoping that sanity and diplomacy will prevail over the forces of division and destruction. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis and insightful commentary on global affairs.